of where you're growing your business, what you're doing in your business, that the ultimate key to success and conversion is communication. I don't believe that agents have a lead problem. I think that agents, salespeople, we have a conversion problem. We need to figure out more quickly and more effectively how we can make our customers, our clients, our prospects feel comfortable and confident. And you're going to want to write that down. The goal of the conversation is to make the prospect feel comfortable and confident. And when they feel comfortable and confident, they feel understood. And the moment someone feels understood, you've essentially, effectively taken them off the market. Meaning when they feel that after speaking to you, you truly get what they're looking for, their motivation, their desire, why they're doing this, what their concerns are. All of that makes them not want to talk to all the other realtors that will call. We already know that every lead that you get, on average, that lead is sitting in 5 to 6 other CRMs and databases of agents. So I wrote down a number of things I want to talk about, and the first thing I wrote down around question-based selling, and if you don't know what question-based selling is, I'll tell you in short, when I'm in a presentation or when I'm trying to sell something to someone, or even try to get someone in my corner, my goal is to end every essentially sentence I make, every statement I make, to end in a question mark. Because, and write this thing down, when you're selling, selling is not telling. And you've heard this before, selling is not telling. You get paid not for what you say, but rather the questions that you ask. I'll say that one more time. You don't get paid for what you say, you get paid for the questions that you ask. Now, the first thing I want you to get real with is when you start to uncover the power of asking really strong questions, the first thing that happens for you in your business is you start to find your client's true motivation. And I want to kind of shine some light on what I mean with that. When you find their true motivation, you have so much control, more control over the outcome of the conversation. Now, for example, we get a lead that comes in, someone, the lead comes to you from your team lead, maybe it's a Zillow lead or whatever it may be. And you can see that they opted in because they're interested in 123 Banana Street. So I've seen this, I know you've seen this, you're probably doing this, and that's okay. It's all about, continued progress. You call and you make the conversation about 123 Banana Street. Or when you're calling a seller lead, you're making the conversation about selling the home and how you can help them sell the home. My question for you is this. If I'm a seller, if I'm thinking about selling my home, because I want to move to Texas to be with my grandkids, am I more motivated to sell my home, or am I more motivated for the because? I'm more motivated for the because. And when you ask questions, it finds the because. Too many times we are, as realtors, trying to sell them an address, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot home. That's not what they're buying. They're buying the because, or they're selling for the because. Now, when I know that my client Kevin or my prospect Kevin wants to sell because he wants to move to Texas to be with his grandkids, now later on in the conversation, and we've all experienced this, when they start to throw smoke screens out and try to pump the brakes on us, or just throw out unlogical objections, we can always point back to, I completely understand you feel this, and a lot of people feel that way, but let me ask you, what's more important? Slowing it down because of X, or getting you to Texas so you can be with your grandkids? And we'll dive into more of that. So when you start to ask questions, you find the client's real motivation. And that, to me, is the basis of all sales. Unless I really know why you're trying to buy a home, it becomes really hard for me to actually sell it to you. I can show you addresses, I can open up doors, I can show you the nice, vaulted ceilings, but unless I really know what you're looking for, I'm going to sell you what I'm assuming you're looking for. So for example, if my wife and I were to go buy a new home today, I'm not buying a new home because I need a home. I already have a home. I'm buying a home because a new home, a different home, because there's something else that I want. It might be because my family is growing and I need more bedrooms. Or maybe I'm just looking for more of an entertainer's backyard. Or, there's so many becauses. No one buys a house strictly because they want a roof over their head. They buy a house because there's a because there. And when you ask really good questions and learn to be in a state of asking questions, what you'll find is that you start to find people's real motivation. The second thing asking questions does, and if you guys have questions about any of this, type it in. I'm sure Kevin can stop me and I'll do it.
Yep.
Okay. So first thing it does is helps you find their motivation. And I'm telling you folks, if you think that you're selling addresses and bedrooms, which you are, you will find so much more power in your sales and in your business when you get real with the fact that you're not selling addresses and square footage. You're selling open floor plans and views. You're selling moving to be there close to the grandkids. Excuse me. You're selling going from a 2-story to a 1-story. You're selling downsizing and upsizing. You're not selling an address. Next thing, there's in conversation with your prospects, you've experienced this. People don't like to be sold. And when they opt in to a website and then get a phone call from you, they know what's happening. The jig is up, right? They know that you are trying to sell them on working with you. Because of that, we've experienced this probably on every call. What happens? What do we feel the prospect is doing? They're always kind of pumping their brakes. They have their heels kind of like dug into the floor. They're trying to slow down the appointment that they know you're trying to get. Why are they trying to do that? A ton of reasons. But for the most part, they're trying to do it because this is a very damn big decision for them. And 2, they have in some way, some shape, some form told themselves that they are not going to hire a bozo. They are not going to hire a bozo because maybe they hired a bad agent in the past, or maybe they had a bad sales experience when buying a car and they're broadcasting that onto this. But people are going to pump the brakes because they want to feel in control. I'm going to say that one more time. They pump the brakes because they want to feel in control. So when you learn to ask really strong questions that essentially are like dangling the carrot to where you want the prospect to go, they think that they're in control. But who's really in control when I'm just asking questions? So for example, if I get an objection from a customer, and I'm going to use a crazy objection just to show that it doesn't matter what they say, it matters how you respond. You know what? We don't want to work with anybody right now. We're not going to use a realtor. We don't want to look at homes because the sky is orange. Wow, the sky is orange. I completely understand. I get it. If the sky is orange, I wouldn't want to buy a house either. But let me ask you this. If there was a way that I could show you a plan to help you look at homes the moment the sky was blue, would you be willing to then look at those homes with me? Yes. So tell me, now what's my point here? Is the sky orange? No, the sky's not orange. But if I tell them in that moment, what the hell are you talking about? The sky's not orange, the sky is blue. Let me go outside right now and show you that the sky is blue. By me saying that, I am making myself right. And if I'm making myself right, what am I making them?
Wrong.
I'm making them wrong. Get real with the fact that your client never Your prospect never. People never want to be made wrong. So when I learned how to repeat and approve like I just did, wow, the sky is orange. I can't believe it. I completely understand your concern. I said to them, look, I hear you and I see you. But then I backed it up with a question of logic, right? And took them from me wanting to go this direction to asking them a question that lets me go this direction. The whole time I never made them wrong. I completely understand.
Sam, I have a question. Can I jump in real quick? Because I think this is very, very important. I think this is, if there's one thing that you guys can take away from this, it's this part right here, because this is incredibly powerful what Sam just did. So we deal with the objections all the time, and whether it's on the phone or in person or on a listing presentation or whatever. What I took away from what you just did, and I think it's brilliant, I think it really just like very disarming, right? You're disarming the other person, because like you said, if you're like combating them, then you've created friction.
Yep.
That's the opposite of what you want to do. So what you did there is there was the objection, the sky is orange. And even if it's not orange, you still kind of like acknowledge it at the very least, if not agree. Like, who cares, right? Like, let them feel like the sky's orange. So what you did there was really awesome, because you said, you agreed, but then you asked if you could ask a question.
Yep.
So there's that right there. That little thing is like so valuable. Just that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because it just came out naturally. But folks, don't go anywhere, Kevin. I'm always asking for permission to tell them another way to look at it. And let me ask you this. If I ask you for permission, who do you feel like is in control?
I'm in control. Me.
But I'm asking you a question that's taking you exactly where I want you to go. So who's actually controlling the conversation? But I'm asking, hey, is it okay if I sell the shit out of you? Right? Like, but I'm not saying it that way. So let's go even, a bit further. When I ask you for permission and you say yes, what happens after I get a bunch of little commitments? It makes it easier for me to get the big commitment. So remember this, a bunch of little commitments equal a big commitment.
And this,
so in the conversation, if I can ask Kevin, hey, is it okay if I give you another perspective to look at? Or, wow, I can't believe it. I understand what you're saying. May I explain the problem that might create for you? The whole time Kevin thinks he's in control, but what am I getting? You see that head nod? You see the yes? As I can get Kevin more in a state of removing friction and getting him in a state of yes, you can ask me. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, I'm with you. Yes, you can ask me. Yes, that makes sense. Yes, I'm with you. When I get a bunch of yeses, and then at the end I ask for the big yes, which is a contract or the appointment, I am statistically more likely to get the yes because Kevin is already in a yes state with me.
Now, let me just say, because this, what you just said, is exactly what we talk about all the time when it comes to gaining agreement. So one of the things you'll find like in common with a lot of the most successful people like Sam is they all have like the same sort of these same ideas. So we talk about it all the time when we're on the phone. Like we had a call last week when we were talking about gaining agreement on the phone. The first thing you want to do is you want to get them to start saying yes to you. So what do you say when somebody answers the phone is you say their name. Hi, Sam. First thing you do is say yes.
Yes, that's me.
So it's like you're just pointing out the exact same thing that we talk about all the time, and you're doing it in a way related to handling objections. So like by asking someone for permission to ask a question, you're not only making them feel like they're in control when you really are, but you're also getting them to gain agreement with you because they're going to probably say yes. Like 90% of the time, I would imagine that when you ask someone if they would let you ask a question, they're going to say yes to that.
Yeah, they don't say no.
Usually they don't say no. And if they do say no, then I don't know how you would handle that. But most of the time they say yes. And I mean, it's just normal sort of day-to-day interaction with people. And it's also a great way to become more likable. Like if you ask me permission to ask a question, like I'm going to say yes. And it's just like there's just a connection that happens.
Totally. You know, in sales in general, I believe, and I've always, before I studied sales, my opinion of sales was the same. My goal is to get them in a safe little bubble, right? And then once I have them in that bubble, I can take them wherever I want. And by the only way I get them to get in that bubble is by making them feel comfortable and confident. And let me give you an example of this. You know, I know that if you're hearing my voice right now, you have had some sort of dispute with a spouse or a family member or a friend or whatever. If me and Kevin right now are mid-argument and we're both just trying to be right, and it's escalating, escalating, and escalating. If I just stopped and I said, Kevin, dude, I hear you. I see you. I get you. Like, my perspective is this, your perspective is that. All of a sudden, as soon as Kevin feels heard and understood, he doesn't need to be combative. Folks, we are making our clients combative because we're not letting them feel heard and understood. Look, if they say that all agents are bozos, then guess what? All agents are bozos, right? You need to decide before every call. Do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Mm-hmm. Guys like Kevin and I'd rather be rich than be right. So if you want to say to me, look, I don't want to sell because the sky is orange, man, I wouldn't want to sell if the sky is orange either. That's some scary stuff. Let me ask you, as soon as the sky is blue, what type of home would you be looking to buy? Right? And let me ask you this. If there was a home right now that existed that matched all of the things you're looking for, and I could magically make sure that the sky above it was blue, would you at least be willing to look at it at that point? Right? All I'm doing is asking questions. And it's important to look at whatever they say, I repeat it and I approve it. I don't want to make them wrong. I want to make them feel heard and understood. I don't want to sell because XYZ. Oh my gosh, XYZ. I completely understand where you're coming from. But is it okay if I ask you this one question? Or is it okay if I give you another perspective to look at?
Sam, how can we apply that to, let's say we're at a listing presentation, or let's say we're at a property and we're showing a home and it's like there's an objection. The objection.
Throw one at me.
Okay, so let's say I don't like this, you know, the wall. I mean, it's like a really big wall and it's blocking the view.
Yeah, that's a big wall. It's certainly blocking the view, Kevin, and I'm with you. I am Mr. View. So let me ask you this. If the wall wasn't here, does everything else we seem like the type of home that you want to put an offer on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm really hearing you say is like, this is the home we want. It's just not set up perfectly. Is that correct?
Right.
Would you be okay with me just seeing if this is a load-bearing wall that we could get removed?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love that.
Sure. And you know what we could even do, Kevin, and tell me if you think this is a good idea or not. When we write an offer on this home today, we could even put into the offer that we're going to ask them to actually pay to remove that wall. Would that make you feel comfortable and confident in putting an offer on this home?
Yeah. If they can remove the wall, I'll do it.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, if they can't remove the wall and you still decide that this isn't your home, guess what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to make sure I protect your best interest and find you the home that you want. My goal here, Kevin, is to help you get what you want in the time that you want it. But more importantly, I want you to feel comfortable and confident that I'm in your corner. I'm going to make sure you get what you want. Does that make sense?
Boom. Yes.
Are you with me?
Sign. Yes.
So a couple of things I did there.
One thing I want to point out too, which I think you're going to point out, but before, I don't want to forget.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, you go. I'll tell you after.
So if you notice at the end of that, when I said, does that make sense? Are you getting this? Are you with me? I know that he gets it. I know he's going to say yes. So two things happen there. One, I'm getting another yes, another commitment, another moving in my direction. The second thing is I want you to look at the way these words are positioned. When I say to Kevin, are you with me? Are you getting this? When he says yes to are you getting this, what kind of commitment did he just make? Right? It's a commitment. When I'm in the house and I'm saying, hey, we're going to ask them to do this, that, and the other, are you getting this? Yes, I'm getting this. They are making a verbal commitment that they are getting this. So if I'm at a listing appointment and I say, look, I ask a question and then I tie it down and I tap on the contract when I say, are you getting this? What they're doing is they are committing verbally to this contract. Or if I'm face to face and I say, you know, the sky is purple, we're going to make it blue, I'm going to wave this magic wand, are you with me? And I tap to myself, are you with me? They are committing to be with me. And it's just, again, we want those little commitments. And when they're commitments with tie downs, man, they just feel so understood. They feel so that you're in their corner, that the moment you leave and that other agent calls, they're gonna be like, nah, man, I'm good. Like, my boy Kevin understands me. He gets me. He knows what I want. He knows what my wife wants. He knows what my kids want. I just talked to him for 15, 20 minutes. I don't want to have that conversation again.
Right. And it's just, again, it's attraction, right? I mean, it's like, they're not only getting you verbally, they're getting you physically, because it's body language. And you're going like this. Do you get me? Are you with me? Do you see this? Are you with me? You're pointing at the contract.
Yeah.
Like,
are you getting this?
The body thing too, right? Like, it's physically and verbally that they're engaging. One of the things that you mentioned I was going to mention earlier, I said I didn't want to forget, is you said, when we write up this contract today, I'll make sure to put this in. Are you with me? So, like, you said, when we write this contract today, like, when we write it and today. So a lot of times we feel like sometimes almost intimidated to use those words. Like, I feel like I don't want to say that because I don't want to come across as being like this pushy, hard-nosed real estate agent, when you're really not. You just do it. Right?
It's so you're drunk monkey in your head, because the prospect doesn't realize that you said when you. Right. All they heard is we might write an offer on this. But in the back of their mind, you said when instead of if. If puts doubt. And
what we're talking about right now, these are the skills that are necessary to be a good salesperson. This is like an education right now. Like, we're getting, it's like how to interact when you're selling. These are things that, like, I learned, luckily, fortunately, at a really, really young age. And to hear it again is like an echo of the past, man. Like, I really enjoy it. Like, it's just like a great philosophy, like the whole sales thing. And I hope, you guys are getting great value out of this, because it's so important. And we deal with it every single day when we're talking with our clients and our prospects and our friends and our families and our personal, relationships. These skills will make you have better relationships, not only better skills, but better relationships, period.
Dude, you're so on point. When you become a lyricist with the way you communicate with people, you get your kids to clean their room, you get people in your corner, you attract attention. Like, understand that in all, like, overall, everything, like, people want to feel like they are in connection, they are in motion with the people that they want to feel understood. And when we don't ask questions, we are just talking. And when you're talking, you're not letting someone feel understood. A couple other things I want to touch on real quick. I don't know if we have enough time.
A couple minutes, yeah.
So I want to address that I can make statements in prospecting, in communication. I can make a statement like I am right now. This is a statement. The statement is, you should ask questions, period. But I turn it into a question by saying, does that make sense?
Yes.
This, the contract, this, that, and the other happens. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do that. That's a matter of fact. Are you with me? Any questions about that? Any way I can clarify any further for you? Everything I do, even if it's a statement, I'm going to ask a question on the backside of it, so that I'm always in a state of asking questions. I want my customer moving forward.
And your perception is that the customer is in control by asking the question. So this goes back again when we talk about all the time with prospecting, when we say, all right, great, you're not approved yet. You don't have a loan. You haven't talked to a lender yet. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, after this call, send out an introductory email to Billy Babcock, and that way you can get familiar with different loan programs and, you know, understand what's out there. Does that sound good?
Yep.
How's that sound? Like,
that sounds great.
It's over, right? I mean, I'm saying what I'm going to do, but I end it with a question so that they feel like they're in control, but really we're the ones telling and we're dictating what's going to happen next. And that's, I think, what you're talking about, and you hit it right on.
Thank you. So something that we all might consider doing is playing the question game. This is a muscle, just like anything else. It's the muscle of, can I ask another question even when it feels like I can't? So outside of work, in your real life, try everywhere you go to just ask questions. So we're at lunch. Waiter comes up. Hi, what would you like to order? Well, I don't know. The burger looks really good. Unless you suggest something else. No, I think the burger sounds good. Okay, well, I'll take the burger. Do you think I should get anything along the side of it? Oh, no, you know, burger and salad sounds good. Okay, perfect. I usually like ranch. Which dressing do you recommend? I recommend Thousand Island. Okay, Thousand Island. So which one of those do you think would go better with, I'm reaching for questions. Is that going to help me learn how to find questions more when I'm in communication with my prospects? And the answer is yes. See, we have to just learn how to keep the conversation going. Statistics show, I think it's, and you probably know better than me, 80% or so of appointments when prospecting are made after 12 or so minutes on the phone. Also, after 6 or 7 objections are handled. So let me make this all make sense for you guys. You've certainly thought to yourself, how is it that 10% of agents do 90% of the business? How does that happen? Why? Let me break that down for you. Statistically speaking, 80% of appointments are set after 12 minutes on the phone and or 6 or 7 objections handled. My question for you is, what percentage of agents out there do you think have the skill set and the wherewithal to keep a client on the phone for 12 minutes and handle 6+ objections?
Very low percentage.
My guess is like 4 to 5%. And
it's a lot of times it's because we just give up. We give up. Yep. We give up. We stop.
Oh, you know, Kevin's very serious. He's not interested. No, man, he's just tired of talking to bozo agents. So he's pumping the brakes on you, and you're allowing that to stop you as opposed to asking him better questions. So what's my point with this? Let's say that 10% of agents have the skill set to ask that many questions and keep people on the phone. So what we're looking at is there's this big pool. 80% of appointments are set after 12 minutes on the phone, but only 10% of agents are playing in that pool. So we have this big pool of appointments, and only 10% of agents have the skill set to get those appointments. And then on the opposite side, we have this little pool of 20% of the appointments that are set before 12 minutes and 7 objections handled. But then we have 80% of the agents playing in that tiny little pool. So if you've ever wondered why great agents and teams like Kevin's are outperforming so many other people, it's because they're the 10% playing in the 80% pool, where most agents are the 80%ers playing in the 20% pool.
And you know what that post 12-minute pool is? It's one word. I already know you're thinking of that word.
Go ahead.
It's an opportunity.
Yes.
That is the opportunity.
Yes.
So that's where we need to be focusing.
Yeah.
We don't want to be scrapping for that small percentage, that small bubble, and where everybody is. We want to be in the larger pool where nobody is.
Yes. I want to be swimming by myself in the big pool. So here's the shoot, I just lost it. What did you say? You said
opportunity. Well, while you're thinking of that, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So what are some ways to keep a conversation going when it seems like it's about to end?
So if I'm on the phone with a prospect and I feel like I'm losing their interest.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't believe that clients are offended by closes. I think they're offended by sleazy, cheesy closes. So I'm going to say something like, so Kevin, we've talked a lot. I think we've answered, I've asked you a lot of questions. We've understood kind of what you're looking for. So tell me, what has to happen before you decide to hire a great agent like me to support you with this process?
What has to happen?
What has to happen?
And then you also, before that, you listed out a number of things. Do you think that that's something that is, because there's a number of different types of closes, right? So there's
Yes.
like takeaway close, there's the assumption close. What you kind of just did was I forgot the name, but it's like you're listing out all the things that you kind of went over. We went over this, we went over that, we talked about this. These are all reasons why they should do what you want them to do.
Yeah,
and
because I want them to feel understood. So I'm going to say, look, Kevin, after talking, what I'm really hearing is important to you is we have to get you to Texas to be with your grandkids, like ASAP. And in the process, I understand it's really important for you that you don't want a bunch of randoms walking through the house while you're having dinner with the kids. So I'm going to make sure I protect the showings and only get people in there at the right time. Further than that, I know it's really important for you that we're marketing your home the right way. You want these many open houses. I took notes on all of that. I really feel like I understand what you're looking for in this transaction. I got to tell you, I'm very confident there is not a better agent in the county to help you do this. So my question for you then becomes, what has to happen before you decide to hire me for the job of selling your home?
Love it.
So I remember the other thing I wrote down, and we can end with this if you want.
Sure.
I think that there's a mental shift that needs to happen when you're prospecting, in light with keeping you on the phone for 12 minutes. I really do believe that most people, when prospecting as an agent, are picking up the phone and hoping to go from phone call to immediately get the appointment as fast as possible. How fast can I get this appointment? I'm not even thinking appointment. I pick up the phone and I'm like, where's this first objection? Let me get the first objection. Found it. What other objection is there? See, understand that people don't set appointments when there's unanswered questions in their mind. And an objection is nothing more than an unanswered question. So if I want someone to feel comfortable and confident that I'm the person that they should work with, and I want to keep them on the phone for 12 plus minutes, so statistically I have the odds of setting that appointment, I need to find all of their objections, all of their concerns. Where an untrained agent's like, oh man, I hope they don't ask me a tough question. No, find the tough questions. Because when you find the tough questions, you give them a good answer. You have separated yourself from all the other agents that are going to call. You have taken them off the market, showed them that you hear them and understand them, and made them feel comfortable and confident.
Boom. Man, that was good. That
Awesome.
was great. Thank you so much, Sam. This was a great call. I recorded the call. This is like, there's so many great nuggets, and really, really appreciate your time. I know everybody enjoyed it. Thank you. Yes. So Sam, thank you very much, buddy. Any other last thing?
See you guys next time.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Take care.
Bye.